welcome to the Recovery Daily Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Labasi. I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic and stroke survivor. We had a little delay to start with because, I pushed the button and nothing happened. So I'm just standing there, sitting here, is it? Are we on? Are we on? I felt like I was in a newscast center, news studio. Okay. Today, I wanted to talk about gratitude, emotional sobriety, and perception. Um, I was reminded this morning about the the time 2 years ago when I first started. I guess it's been almost 3 years. I don't even know. I can't keep up with the years. Where I went outside for the first fall season that I had been experiencing with being in medical retirement. So after my stroke, having left my job and going outside to walk Autumn, and I walked up to this tree, or I was standing there while Autumn did her business, and all the leaves were half turned. They were half turned from green into their fall color, and so they were still attached to the tree. And I remember looking at it and just being like, "What in the world? This is beautiful!" Like, I was in awe. I was amazed at how beautiful these leaves were. And what I was thinking about this morning is, like, there's no way that I hadn't seen that before my whole life. I'm 51 years old. When that happened, I was like 49, 48 maybe. I think I was 49. And there's no way I hadn't seen a half turned leaf before then. But my perception of it was so different after I had medically retired, after I had had my stroke. And the same thing occurred when I entered into sobriety. There's a contrast of perception when I entered recovery for both instances. The beauty was always there, but I couldn't see these things as clearly. And I was a little fascinated by that this morning as my emotional sobriety deepens through the years of being alcohol free and practicing the program, because those are two different things. I mean, they tie together, but one thing is to not pick up the alcohol, but that alone does not create this deepened emotional sobriety. It does not seem to expand the gratitude and beauty around me. What has done that for me and continues to do it, it feels like daily, is practicing the principles of the program that are introduced in the steps. It it continues to amaze me that there is no program for living for people who aren't alcoholics that mimics AA. There's lots of stuff, there's church, there's lots of self-help stuff out there, but this program where we actually take action, I have not been introduced to one like it or heard about it outside of sobriety. Boris, can you please not lick Autumn's ears? Thank you very much. We don't need another ear infection, am I right? So that transformation of my perception seems to change. It seems to happen um, in the absence of fear. Like when I try to look at what was removed from between my ears in order for me to have a change in perception. Um, Now, when I entered into stroke recovery, full-time stroke recovery, and left my job, I was full of fear. I was full of fear, but I was also full of gratitude that I was still here, that my stroke didn't take me out. Um, I think that when I finally surrendered to my disability, then I think that fear did narrow. And my vision became a little bit more, my inner vision, my perception, I should say, because my vision didn't get better. My perception of the world around me got better when I made a decision of acceptance. And I still had fear, but the fear shifted before I admitted, surrendered to my disability and said, okay, my life has changed forever since my stroke. That took 2 years for me to make that admission. And so when I finally did, my fears changed into, I was more fearful of, I was fearful that I was fearful of a lot of stuff, but I was no longer fearful of leaving my job because I had done it. And so I had a new set of fears ahead of me. Um, but also, I had a new medical team ahead of me too that I was going to see. So I think as my experiences and my decisions shape my perception, it also shaped how I saw, like it shaped my perception of fear. It also shaped the beauty and the gratitude that I could see around me. So, with growing emotional sobriety, that gratitude for being given another chance opened my eyes a little bit more to what was already there. Um, Imagine how our fears shape our perception. And what I was thinking about was how, I think yesterday was the day that I said, I've always been scared. I've always been afraid of everything, my whole life. And when I got sober, a lot of that has been worked through by facing it. Boris, stop licking Autumn. You have slimy, slimy spit. Thank you. Um, so I guess I was just thinking like how freaking blocked I was from seeing beauty and how it's like the ability to see the beauty came first and then the gratitude came. And that's when I started having a new perception of things. So today in my meeting this morning, I was really grateful for the newcomers who are willing to talk about what their experience is like in the first 3 months. Because when I'm reminded of what that feels like, that perception is restored. That new fabulous perception of the way that my life is now and the world around me is restored. I can, the gratitude is restored and all that good stuff. So there's just a beauty in watching newcomers begin to see the light for the first time and watch the veil lift for them. Um, the way that it once did for me. So I really do have a great sense of gratitude. You know, we hear that in early sobriety, but we really don't believe it that people that can be sober for 9 years can look at us and be grateful for us or that we have something to give. But newcomers do keep us grounded and keep us coming back. There's so many reasons to come back to meetings, not only for myself, but to share what was so freely given to me. And I got to experience one of the newcomers reaching out to me to sign up for a service position. And that was fun too. I don't want to be condescending when I'm like, I'm super proud of you for doing that, but I am. I'm overjoyed to have somebody putting in the work and get to be a part of that experience because it rejuvenates me and my sobriety and keeps me coming back. Like I said, it's emphasized for me today that recovery is not a solo adventure, that gratitude and beauty and perspective, it all gets fed by the community itself and being of service and going to meetings, sharing my fears, hearing other people share their fears. And as we do that together, that's when that perspective just starts changing and transforming into beauty and gratitude. So I did want to take a minute to acknowledge the veterans and thank you for your courage and service. And that's what I have for you today. So as the fall is wrapping up, like go outside and see if you can find some of those half-turned fall leaves. It's really fascinating. It's almost like a direct depiction of what it's like for us when we enter in sobriety and we're in those first 3 months where we're half changed, you know, we're green, we're still green on the inside, and on the outside, we're changing into beautiful colors that other people can see. And that's really cool. So, that's what I've got for you today. So I encourage you to pause and notice and give thanks and keep that emotional sobriety in motion. So thanks for joining me today, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.